Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to IBN Sportsreel International here on IBN Channel 8, live from our studios in the Bamboo. Of course, I'm your host, Riza Basali, retired secondary school teacher, Astra Boys Colleges in San Fernando and Charleville. You can look at our show, of course, every Thursday night, evening at 5 p.m. and we have a rerun. Sundays at 5 p.m. and we have a rerun at 6 p.m. on Thursday. You can watch our show on Facebook, IBN TV, and YouTube, IBN Master. We have a very good and packed program here this evening. And up front, let me state that we have a very special guest on set tonight, a former West Indies under-19 captain, and currently Director of Policy and Community Support in the Ministry of Homeland Security, Zahir Ali. Stay tuned to that interview at the back end of our program. And thank you to Prasad's The Food King for being title sponsorship of this program. All right, let's move on quickly. Last week we had, two special guests from Astra Boys College in San Fernando. Let's look at that photo, the kendo. Martial arts, that's right, kendo martial arts, which is big at Astra Boys at San Fernando, that club. And we have in the middle Sensei Davis, Eddie Davis, and our coordinator, Mr. Hafizur Mohammed, of that big program at Astra Boys College in San Fernando. And kendo is probably just one of the only sport of that sort that is exhibited at any school in Trinidad and Tobago. So what Eddie told me is that kendo classes are every Tuesday and Friday nights in Port of Spain, Tranquility Church Hall, Lower Victoria Avenue. And of course, you can check out the Facebook page, TNT Kendo Federation. Japanese martial arts, kendo. And you can email the Kendo Federation at ttkendo@gmail.com. Let me repeat that, ttkendo@gmail.com. All right, that is the Eddie Davis Sensei. And congratulations again to the Kendo Club, which is doing extremely well at Astra Boys San Fernando. And then thank you, Mr. Faid Ali, for running that video on your Facebook page, Astra Boys College's Facebook page, 5,000 followers. Right, now let's move on now to Makib Bilil. Let's have a look at Makib. Makib appeared on Sportsreel International about 2 weeks ago. And he has qualified, and that is on the left, Wendell Joku, his trainer. You know the guy in the middle, and Makib is on the right, or my right. All right, Makib has qualified for the Youth Olympics in Dakar, Senegal, October, November of this year. And that's a big event for Makib, who is a Form 4 student at Astra Boys College in Charleville. And he's been enormously supported by the college. And we must credit, of course, Ms. Naila Ramsing, his form teacher, who's taking care of Makib. So Makib now, of course, a big part of this is his preparation. Can we see that headline article, the Express article? Bilil seeks support for Youth Olympic preparation. About 2 days ago, on the Express, written by Ian Prescott. So we need to extend support for Makib. What we call living his dreams as a young man, only 16, 17. And if you want to extend any assistance to Makib, all right, you can call his mother at 323-3851, 745-9272, 323-3851, 745-9272. Now, do we have technicians? Did you get Mr. Curtis Humphrey? All right. Curtis, are you there? Hello? Yeah, not hearing you. Technician, I'm not hearing him.
I'm hearing.
All right. Great, Curtis. How are you, man?
Doing fine, man.
All right. Well, we want to review that Caribbean Junior Championships that took place last month at the Dominican Republic. And Curtis, of course, was the head coach of the Caribbean Junior Championship. Curtis, thank you for joining us on IBN Sportsreel, man.
No problem, man. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Tell us a bit quickly about yourself, Curtis. I know you've been a prominent table tennis champion in the country. Tell us about yourself.
So I started table tennis when I was 12 years old. Would have made my first national senior team when I was 14.
Right.
And then made my senior debut when I was 16. And from 16, I've been on national team for close to 20 plus years.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Curtis, go ahead.
Yeah, so other than playing, I'm also now coaching.
Yes.
I was privileged to do some managerial work as well with some of our teams. So now for me, it's about giving back and making sure that our youth have that guidance and mentorship.
All right, great. Great. Curtis, you were down there, the head coach on the Dominican Republic with the junior boys and junior girls. Tell us a bit about, in terms of your review of the championship, our medal count. How satisfied were you, Curtis, regarding our performance in the DR?
Yeah, I was satisfied. I was overwhelmed with joy because in 2025 we had won 4 medals, a silver and 3 bronze.
Yes.
And in this championship we had won 2 silver and 4 bronze. So we have increased the medal count. Really was hoping that we were really close to winning gold on 3 occasions. That's in the girls team, the girls doubles at under 19, and also in that final. We missed out on gold. But generally pleased with the terms of our progression from 2025. But hoping for bigger and better things in 2027.
Great, Curtis. Tell me, what lessons can we learn in terms of the quality of this competition? How we fared against the bigger teams like the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, preparation is key. Based on how you prepare is basically what you receive, you know. So our preparation and our system here has to be a lot better at the Dominican Republic and the Puerto Rico.
Yes.
They have academies, they have homes where table tennis is playing 24/7.
Wow.
They have coaches that are paid, that will live here and guide the athletes. So they have structures in place that we don't have. And
right.
I'm hoping that soon we'll be able to develop and get structures like that where we have a home, we have coaches,
right.
And players would be able to have that experience of maybe 2 sessions a day, 6 sessions a week, trying to get in as much hours as possible, 50 plus hours in training.
Right.
At the moment, the majority of our players practice of that 3 times a week for maybe 9 hours, which is insufficient.
Yes, I hear you. Well, Curtis, as we come down to the end of the interview, what are some of the, if to your knowledge, what are some of the events that we're looking forward to for the rest of the year with the table tennis team?
Well, we have the WCT. We have a WCT coming up in Caracas.
Oh.
That we would have won the under 17 and she would have gotten silver in the under 19. That's in June, from the 23rd to the 27th. Then we have CAC games in which our women qualify for Ryan Chong, Chloe Fraser, Imani Edwards, Taylor, and Jordan Chong.
Right.
And we also have Sunil Asgarali, who would have qualified to play the singles event.
Great.
That will be in July and October. And then we have a number of other events locally. We have national championships, Trinbago Open, Silver Bowl. So we have a lot of things happening. But again, we have to take it in stride in terms of especially these international events. We need to get our players the right preparation or the best preparation.
Yes.
So that we're able to make sure that.
Great, man. Curtis, well, thank you so much for joining us as IBN Sportsreel International. Thank you so much, and let us keep in contact.
All right, always a pleasure. That's happening.
Great man, great man. Curtis Humphrey, table tennis champion, now coach of that recently Caribbean Junior Championships in the Dominican Republic. All right, so quickly now, you know, there was this recent World Championship in London, and the Chinese team conquered the Japanese team in the final, in the team final, that is. This is just amazing tennis, just for 2 minutes or less. Let's look at that match between the world number one, I think it's Chu King, and the Japanese Matsuchuma. Let's have a look quickly.
Power out blitz everyone. For example, a 360. Advantage after 6. 3. This is like watching two heavyweights. He's got plenty of power. Recently, Matt, the World Cup in Macau. And it was Lionheart who came out victorious in a 7-game. How much does Sora Matsushima being left? Hey, how do you handle this shot that you do? I don't have to. I'm not handling it. I'm hitting it to my opponent, and that's true of left-handed players. Being left-handed doesn't mean you know how to play against them any better. Arena Wembley here. And it couldn't be closer.
Highlights of the World Championship men's team final against Japan versus China. Now, if I read it correctly, China has won their 12th straight team championship. I mean, China has always dominated world table tennis. And I'm talking about table tennis as a great cross trainer. Yeah? Brian Lara used to play table tennis. Fantastic hand-eye coordination. All right, so that was just a little highlight there on that championship team final. All right, so now let's look at the TNT Trinidad and Tobago versus, the one against Barbados last Sunday, I believe, by 140 runs. And right now they are playing Guyana in the final in that Antigua ground that had problems about 2 weeks ago with the ground preparation. But before I give you the up-to-date score, I did a practice session with the team about 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago, at the Queen's Park Oval. Let's have a look at that video.
Here at the Queen's Park Oval. Red Force practicing for their big match on Sunday. Jason Mohammed here. Right close to me here. Goes down the wicket to Carrier. And there's Mr. Cephas Cooper across there. Jit Goli. All suiting up for the big game against Barbados on Sunday, the semi-final. Here the lovely picturesque Queen's Park Oval, the background there. So the captain here, Josh De Silva, Cephas Cooper, Jit Goli, big names in cricket. Great to be here back at the Queen's Park Oval as the practice is on the move here. Comes in also, that's an inside edge. So Cooper, Jit Goli, Goli's beaten outside off stump there. So good going here at the Queen's Park Oval. Practice session. I think they would have had one yesterday, but Barbados is not a team that you can take lightly. Upright stance. That's a nice leg lance down to the long leg boundary. You only get a single. So Riza Basali here, and looking on here at the pitches here, practice pitches. He iconic Queen's Park Oval. Taking it from a distance. Red Force skipper had a 220 in the last game. Against the Leeward Islands. It's down the pitch, drives forcefully down the pitch. That should be 4. All right. So good practice session going on here. Bright sunshine, no doubt. Excellent sunshine. So we want to wish the Red Force all the best.
All right, that was just, I'm trying out commentary. You know, so I hope I didn't fail the test with that. But I'm looking at the current match now going on in Antigua. I think the match was delayed, of course, this morning. Barge kind of turf uprooted from the side of the pitch or something like that. But the match is underway, and it's Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not too sure if they won the toss or not. Oh, Guyana won the toss and elected to field. And the current score right now is 197 for 9 TNT. They were struggling at, let me see here, 5 for 73. So we have some lower order resistance. I'm watching quick here. Cooper 18, Lewis Doc, goalie 26, Jason Muhammad 14, Django 4, Joshua's the Silver Doc, Terrence Hines 29, Kari Pierre 40, James 14, Anderson Phillip 2, Jaden Seals 33, not out, 191 for 9. The wickets are shared the Guyana bowlers. Some tough inning so far for the Red Force. And we're going on red tonight. All right, so that's the latest regarding Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana in the final of the regional series. All right, let's go quickly now to TML cricket. I think my friend Summer is looking on. Hosseini, how are you, my brother? Assalamu alaikum. So TML cricket is in full flow, and we have some highlights from last week. Let's see the first one, technician. TML cricket, Trinidad Muslim cricket there at the Muslim grounds, the TML grounds in St. Joseph. Karini Jamaat versus Manahambre. Let's have a look. Nice. Manahambre versus Hadi Jamaat. Let's have a quick look. Manahambre versus the Hadi Jamaat, the next video. All right. Don't seem to have that video. The CPL draft. The CPL draft. St. Lucia King. All right. You're seeing there Kamil Puran from TNT. On the CPL, playing the St. Lucia King side. Puran is a member of the Presal Jamaat. And then we have the Trinidad's pick, CPL, Abdul Rahim Topin. At the bottom there, we see Nakil Hussain, Sunil Narain, Nicholas Puran, and the rest. Now, I was down there Friday night, and let's look at those photos, at that picture. At the grounds on Friday. Okay. And that's TML lined up with Warrenville. And you see me there in the end. All right. And I got an interview with Abdul Topin, Rahim Topin. Let's run that interview quickly.
Became official, I guess. I was last surprised. So some people that say like, wait, how you wait? I'm more excited than you now, so but I guess since like two, so
And it wouldn't take you much longer because I know I don't want to put you too much on nerves. I'll be careful with this question. You're going to be playing against some excellent players from all over the world. You're a key player, man. What are your expectations?
Well, for me, it's just about applying what I've been working hard and shooting to it. And I just pray and see where it goes from there.
Excellent. Let's proceed, sir.
We want to congratulate Mr. Toppin on the selection of the CPL draft. Well, in that match, TML lost that match against Warrenville, but we'll continue to run highlights on the TML League, inshallah, God willing, for the next couple of weeks. And again, we must recognize the sponsors: Arawak Atlantic Trading, Mohammed's Electrical, Inayat's Printing, SM Jalil, Sultan Black Sea Drinks, The Boxyard, Salam Cola, I'll Buy Chicken, Power Star Cricket Bats, and Karim's Chiblo. Thanks for the sponsors for that TML League. All right, let me see this time here. 5:20. All right, so now let's go to great moments in West Indian cricket. Larry Gomes. Let's look at a picture of Larry Gomes. Yes. Known as Mr. Dependable. H.A. Gomes. And the stats on Larry Gomes, as you know, he played Test cricket between 1976 and 87. 60 tests, 3,171 runs, average of just under 40, 900s, 6 against Australia, and 231 first-class matches, almost 13,000 first-class runs, high score of 200 not out, 32 first-class hundreds. Fantastic player, Larry Gomes. I was there at his book launch in November 2024, I believe, at the Larry Gomes Stadium. And these are exclusive highlights of that book launch. Let's run it, technician. Large crowd here. The VIP section of the Larry Gomes Stadium. Oh my gosh, what a proud moment. The whole of Arima is here. And there's the man. There's the man signing his book. Mr. Dependable. Authored by Mr. Nasser Khan. And fantastic atmosphere. There's Dr. Camacho, president of Queen's Park Cricket Club, awaiting his autographed book, Mr. Dependable, here at the Larry Gomes VIP section, stadium in Arima. What a great moment. What a great moment. Yes, man. This is Arima here. Everybody's waiting. Excuse me. Author, Mr. Khan. The great Larry Gomes, 60 test matches, 1976 to 1987. Just over 3,000 runs, 900s, 6 against Australia, 2 against England, 1 against India. This is the man. Right. Madam, great man. All right, wonderful atmosphere here. Wonderful atmosphere, November 2024 at the Larry Gomes Stadium, and I was happy to be there. Larry Gomes, Holy Cross, the man from Arima. So thank you again to our title sponsors, Prasad's the Food King. All right, now we have some highlights of Larry's, kind of combination of his batting while he played cricket. Let's have a look at that video.
Alderman to Larry Gomes. And that's a straight drive by Gomes. And that'll go for 4 more. Well, this is a batsman in form. 126 in the first innings, and you would expect him to be in form, but he's made a very confident start, which is always not the case with him. There's nothing more confident than those 2 strokes when he's hit through extra cover, and that one straight down the ground. Alderman actually got a hand to that and took some of the pace off it, but it was a fine stroke. Good attacking cricket. 8 to go, 16 to Haynes, and West Indies team scoring at the moment at 4 and over.
He's turned that as well. That's a fine shot. Timing's there. And they'll look for a third, but they won't get it. The return is on the way already. So the over from Alderman leaves the West Indies now at 2 for 62.
Yardley to Gomes.
And that's down the ground. And a long chase here for Thompson. They've come back for 2 and will look for a third. Coming for it and getting it quite easily. So 3 runs.
The great H.A. Gomes, Hilary Angelo Larry Gomes, lives in Canada, comes down from time to TNT. And by the way, the name of his biography, now Larry retired from Test cricket in 1987. And this book was just published just about less than 2 years ago. So after several years or decades, he has written his book. And the name of his book is Larry Gomes, Mr. Dependable, My Life in Cricket. Must check it out in what you call Amazon on his story. Very interesting story. All right, people, guess what? It's 26 minutes past 5. And now let's take that break and get ready for a special guest, Director of Policy and Community Support at the Ministry of Homeland Security, Mr. Zahir Ali. Stay tuned to IBN Sports Reel.
Win one of 100 shopping sprees. Super Mom, Super Dad, Super Wins sweepstakes is here at Possad's the Food King and Bright Ideas. This is your chance to shop, enter, and win weekly. Here's how you can win. Every time you spend $300, you get an entry form for your chance to win one of 100 shopping sprees. Plus, every Saturday during our live draws, you can shop, spin, and win instantly at any Possad's the Food King. Hurry! Promotion ends June 24th and is NLCB approved.
Possad, quality value, that's our way. The real Possads, we're here to stay. The Food King Possads.
Welcome back. You're viewing The Right Fit, and we're talking about safety with members.
How to help them, right? So palliative care, we want the patient to live longer and the patient to live better, right? You know, that is the watchword we like to talk about, right, Nadeem?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this live show, the Da'wah show, with for the merits of an hour. Inshallah, we'll have some other hosts as we go along.
I am your host, Dr. Abdul Shahan Shah Ali Qasim, and this program
Construction Services and Supplies Limited has built a reputation over the years on reliability, honesty, and pride, with a qualified and experienced workforce to oversee all projects, commercial, industrial, and institutional. We deliver the highest quality designs, build and remodel equipped for the pulse of construction needs. Construction Services and Supplies Limited, 1324 Southern Main Road in Rapport, 648-8882. That number again, 648-8882. Construction Services and Supplies Limited. We are proud to partner with you.
Never too early, never too late to recharge and hydrate. Get your daily dose the right way. Grab an Oasis, now why wait? Never too early, never too late to recharge and hydrate. Get your daily dose the right way. Grab an Oasis, now why wait? The greatest, the safest, Oasis for sure. Oasis, it's purer than pure.
The Dhul Hijjah is here and time is running out. Did you know with Penny Appeal Canada, you can perform your Qurbani in India for just $55? Imagine how many families could benefit from that. But the time is now. Get your Qurbani done as soon as possible. That will give Penny Appeal enough time to distribute this to all those in need. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Allahumma ameen.
Fruitopia, the drink that rocks your lunchtime. Fruitopia, Fruitopia, it's a drink that's hype. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Guava, pineapple, that give me a vibe. We no want nothing less compared to the rest. Fruitopia the best. Punch any thirst when it comes to the test. Perfect thing for my lunch. Flavors like a punch. Fruitopia, Fruitopia, it's a drink that's hype. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Fruitopia, the drink that rocks your lunchtime.
Try our new passion fruit flavor today. Taste the passion.
It's time for mid-month savings at Southern Food Baskets. Fine Choice Calypso Pack, $15.95. Fine Choice Economy Pack, $31.95. Perdix Chicken Nuggets, 300 grams, $19.95. Crown Parboiled Rice, 8 kg, $69.95. Swiss Pasta Cuts, 300 grams, $4 for $19.95. No Name Toilet Paper, 2 pails for $89.95. Coca-Cola, Sprite, Schweppes 2 liter, 2 for $19.95. Richport Tuna Flakes in Water, 3-pack, $14.95. Diamond Foil, 25 feet, 2 for $19.95. Clorox 1 gallon, $31.95. Hurry in today and stock up for less at Southern Food Baskets, where big savings meet everyday value.
Welcome. Welcome again to Sportsreel International here on IBN Channel 8. We have our special guest, Zahir Ali, Director of Policy Community Support, Ministry of Homeland Security, former West Indies national captain at his junior level. Zahir, welcome to Sportsreel International. It's great to have you here, man.
Thank you very much, and it's an honor and privilege to be here as well. And let me wish all your viewers and listeners, may the peace and blessings of Almighty God be upon all of us.
Wa alaikum assalam, salam alaikum. Well, you're sitting here in front of me, and I'm so excited to have you here. I've looked at your portfolio over sports, education, and law enforcement. It's a brilliant combination, sir. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I'm humbled by your comments.
So, let's start at the top, because I didn't realize you came from Cocorite and then you came in the bamboo. Tell us about your early childhood years, and when did you get involved in sport?
Very good question. I spent my first 5 years at Cocorite, Harding Place.
Yes.
That's where my dad born and grew. And then thereafter, at the age of 5, I migrated to Bamboo Settlement Number 1, where my mother born and grew. And ever since, we have resided in the Bamboo Settlement Number 1 area. We from time to time, we go to other areas. But, the turning point where sport was concerned was after I sat the common entrance examination. And, my dad told me sometime thereafter that he saw some ability and some talent where cricket is concerned.
Right.
And, he took me to the Harvard Clinic.
At the age of 11.
That's correct. And from there, it all began.
Well, we talk about mentorship just off the air. There are some people who were important to your development early. And one of them was Lenny Curtin. Do you recall his input?
These are persons that I cannot forget.
Yes.
These persons played very, very integral role. And they were at the very important stage of my development. So yes, of course. And, I want to take this opportunity to recognize his family. I understand that, he has gone back, to his creator.
Yes.
And I know that he has given, service to mankind. So I just want to, may Almighty God, grant him all his good rewards, when the time is appropriate.
Right. Director, I'm looking at your cricket portfolio. It's, stunning to say the least. At 13, you went to Barbados with the Harvard Cricket Club.
That's correct.
You scored 327 runs. And then at 15, you joined QPCC. 1997, you captained the under-15 British Gas tournament.
1995.
1995. And then the under-15 team, you captained the under-15 team in 97.
1996.
1996 for the Lombard World Cup in England, where you averaged almost 58.
That's correct.
Run for us, those kind of experiences, Director.
Well, Mr. Abbas Ali, you're taking me back down, a very, very, very emotional, I'll say emotional, but, very interesting times.
Yes.
I'll rate those times some of the best times of my life. Having the opportunity at a very young age to captain the West Indies youth team to a World Cup, the first of its kind, and also having the opportunity to engage, other teams around the world, India, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand, England. It was a very good experience to me. Sometimes I tell persons who I speak with on a daily basis, it's probably perhaps of my grounding, my exposure at that very young age, that I have that level of aggression in terms of my other aspect, my law enforcement, my legal context, and I was director. Sport definitely would have done something very, very good for me. And I was happy when I, sat and listened to you in terms of speaking about table tennis, looking at the TML Cricket League.
Yes.
I'm very, very inspired by that as well. And as we go along, I'll tell you why I'm inspired by, your coverage and promoting these community activities, which is so critical in the present times that we are living in.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's just pull back a bit. At Queen's Royal College, you were, what we call you are a batsman of the highest standard, 800s I am seeing here. And what was your QRC, part of that in terms of your cricket? And the question is the level of cricket in secondary school in your time.
Very, very good question.
Yes.
I will say humbly that cricket at the college level, secondary school, was very competitive.
Yes.
You had the Avide Samaru, you had the Rite Samaru, you had the Jerry Jumedine, you have the Imran Jans, the Asif Jans, you had persons who went on to play for Trinidad and Tobago and back Central West Indies. And so you have those individuals who played at the school level during my time. You had the Neil Prasad, you had the Imtiaz Ali.
Imtiaz Ali?
Yeah, just came, yes. Not his son.
Oh, not his son.
Imtiaz Ali Jr. So cricket was very, very competitive. You had the Andy Jackson, you had the Kishore Lalchan, may his soul rest in peace.
Yes.
So it was very, very competitive, whether it be Central, whether it be Port of Spain, but North. When you're having a school cricket game, I remember distinctly QRC playing against Shagwana Secondary.
Yes.
It was at the Queen's Park Oval. And when you see the lineup of the spin department from Central,
oh my gosh,
as a batsman, if you had any difficulty in playing spin, you would have lost even before you even play a ball. Thankfully, I had the, some ability and skills to be able to handle and negotiate both left arm and right arm spin.
Right.
But very exciting days, and I really hope that from a cricketing context, that we really reinvest heavily in our schools cricket. I think that if you want to rebuild West Indies cricket, you want to build national cricket, I think that we must have excitement. You must hear that, you're seeing big turnout at school cricket. So that will be the impetus to move it at a national level and then a regional level.
Excellent, Director. Do we have the photos of the director at the top as a youngster? Let's have a look at that. Director?
You're making me emotional, Mr. Abbas Ali. You're making me very, very emotional.
I mean, that you would have been, what, 16 there or 17?
That's around 16, 15 years. That's when I was called up at 16 years old in the national senior squad to join Baron Lara and others at a very young age.
And your friend Imran Jan on the right?
Yeah, very familiar face as well, Mr. Jan. And, good afternoon to him if he's looking on.
Yes. And we have another photo, Director.
Well, yeah, that's what, and I want to say to the viewers,
yes,
the person who's standing to the back of the picture is my father.
Your father?
My father, and I want to disclose that. And when I'm disclosing that is that I want
it right there. Yes.
I want to say to the viewers, those who have children, parents, even legal guardians, that is important. At 16 years old, when I was called, this is at the Queen's Park Oval, when I was called for to play against Guyana, joining Brian Lara and others.
Right.
My father never left me. He always there to support me. And right behind the cricket nets, he was there looking on. And one of my early coaches, and even today, always there to give me advice to my mom, my family. And I want to say to him, may God continue to bless him and bless my parents with long life and health. But very emotional moments. I actually feel I'm back there at that Queen's Park Oval.
Have you ever seen that photo?
I would have seen it earlier when it came out, but you are refreshing my mind. I hope I can engage you to get some copies of these things and perhaps store it away.
Surely.
Yes.
Now, before we go into, of course, to say the transition of your professional career away from cricket and sport, I have to mention, of course, and you mentioned it at the top, the Under-19 World Cup in Sri Lanka, captained by Ryan Hines. You had team members like Marlon Samuels, director.
That's correct.
You had Jermaine Lawson.
That's correct.
Narsingh Narayan. Rodney Suklal.
That's correct.
All right. Well, in the final, India beat Sri Lanka by 6 wickets. And I think, Yuvraj Singh was part of this Under-19 World Cup.
That's correct.
Give us a little, summary of that experience and playing at Under-19 level in terms of a World Tournament director.
Well, let me just begin by indicating some of the names that you have called there. Most, if not all, went on to play for the West Indies senior team. Had it not been for my early exit at the age of 21, and I left the cricket at 21, had it not been for my early exit, perhaps, I may have also gone on to play Test cricket because, a lot of persons, would have dubbed me and, would have been expecting, my entry to Test cricket.
That's right. Yes.
But just to go back to the question that you asked, 90% of the persons went on to play Test cricket. The Lawson, the Narsingh Narayan, the Ryan Hines, Marlon Samuels. As a matter of fact, we were in Sri Lanka during the World Cup, and there was an injury during the West Indies Test team, during the West Indies tour of Australia. And whilst in Sri Lanka, the West Indies selectors called and asked, the persons who were enjoying good form. And that is when Marlon Samuels made his debut in Australia. So he was taken from Colombo to Melbourne to play in that and our names were in that circle. But again, a very competitive regional tournament. I remember in that tournament you had very excellent performances by some of the persons, very competitive. Trinidad and Tobago in that year would have made the final. And we thought that since 1987, I think it was, when Brian Lara won the regional series.
Yes.
I thought that year, as captain of the national team, probably would have changed history. Unfortunately, we lost at the final, but a very competitive regional tournament and the World Cup. And you talk about Yuvraj Singh, very competitive World Cup as well. And what was I should say a little bit of setback. I think that at that 1999 World Cup, perhaps if we had a very strong academy, Mr. Abbas Ali, probably if we had a very strong academy, probably we would have had a nice cadre of West Indian cricketers to probably, sustain us for maybe 15, 20 years.
Yes.
And I think that we lost that opportunity with that group of cricketers because, most played a couple Test matches, played a couple one-day international, but then they fell off the scene. And, it's important for us to look at this from a structural context if we want to rebuild West Indies cricket.
Right.
But again, very interesting time. Again, a beautiful experience, seeing different sides of the world, looking at different wickets, different culture, different tradition.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very, very important. And again, these things, and I said to you offset, that my sporting background, and I this being a sporting program would have been motivating to me to be on this program, because I think that sport has a sometimes we underestimate the importance of sport. You have heard, as a historian, West Indies cricket is what brought Caribbean people together.
Correct is right.
And Nelson Mandela would have indicated that sport is the fastest thing. You bring out a bat and a ball and go to the savannah.
Right.
You wouldn't have to convince persons to get involved.
Right.
You bring out a football, you wouldn't have to convince persons to get involved, and especially young people. So
right.
I think that you are sitting on a very sensitive area. And
yes,
I want
sir.
to urge you
yes, sir.
to continue to promote sport, because I'm looking at sport where I sit as Director of Policy.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at sport in our interventions, and I know we'll speak about it in a short while, but
okay,
sport is very close to my heart.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, let's transition now to your legal career and, of course, life after cricket. You're presently, as we mentioned, Director Policy Committee Support in the Ministry of Homeland Security. Tell us about your role and responsibility in this important portfolio.
Well, the two operative words, looking at policies,
yes,
and looking at it from a law enforcement context in particular, and very important, the second limb, community support.
Yes.
And that community support is very wide in terms of both preventative measures as it relates to crime and criminality. Mm-hmm. So everything that will border on prevention is something that is within my mandate. So hence why in recent times, I looked at a national, with other stakeholders, a national seminar
right.
to look at vulnerable youths in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
And
yes.
we know that when you speak about vulnerability, we know that vulnerability is, can be looked at in a multifaceted way. Mm-hmm. It could be probably weak parenting or no parenting. Right. It could be an issue of mental health. It could be an issue of environmental factors. It could mm-hmm. be a stress within the academic system. So we know many things can impact the youths, and we, as a society, I brought all stakeholders together to look at how best we can impact our nation youth. And coming out of that symposium, and I want to recognize all these stakeholders, I mean, both state and non-state actors who responded positively mm-hmm. and contributed in that very important discussion. And the calls coming out of that discussion, we are presently looking at two major initiatives. One, a national parenting seminar and workshop across all education districts to
yes.
assist our parents to understand the importance of parenting
yes.
and the role. I just mentioned my dad and my mom.
Yes, you did.
And I used that deliberately to recognize that parenting, you need to stay with your children. You need to guide them. You need to provide the support for them. Don't let them be looking for support elsewhere. You are the one to support them, and it's important to start there. And then it's to complement it. We are looking at the special psychosocial intervention and educational engagement in our nation's schools. So we have the parent and we're looking at the students. And I want to recognize the Ministry of Homeland Security, the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security,
yes.
who is very heavy on prevention. The permanent secretaries in the ministry who are very committed to this cause. The Ministry of Education, I must recognize the Minister of Education, right. Mr. Dowlat, and his permanent secretaries as well, the Ministry of Social Development. We are really seeing that interministerial response, which is critical for us. I made mention something recently in an interview, and I told myself that every interview that I have, I'll mention it, and permit me to mention it.
Sure, sir.
When we look at how the Almighty God created us, Reza, and let's look at this, our hands. If the Lord wanted to give us one finger, he would have given us one finger, but he provided 5.
Correct.
So even in his wisdom, he recognized that you need multi-sectoral approaches.
Yes, yes, yes.
And, this is something that when we're looking at vulnerable youths, a child or a youth is connected to, not only their parents, but a community.
Yes.
A school.
I hear you.
And we always talk about a school, and you came from the education system.
Right.
A school being a microcosm of society.
It is.
So if we recognize that we want to, and we have always spoken about society raising a child, that must be manifested by our response. So I just want to say that even the good Lord has given us wisdom, and we must look to his wisdom in terms of how we are going to now take back our beloved Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Director, we have some photos here. Can you line up the photos, technician? You could tell us about these photos.
This is the this was the launch of the National Parenting Seminar that I spoke about a short while ago.
Yes.
Just giving some brief remarks, giving the concept note in terms of where it came from, arising from the symposium that was held. You can see the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists.
Oh.
You've seen the Ministry of Homeland Security, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, the Children's Authority, the Association of Social Workers, the Ministry of Education. When I tell you, Reza, it was at least 99% of all the state and non-state actors that would be therefore directly relevant when we're looking at our youth. This is Ms. Zinat Ramatali, the first Vice President of the National Parent Teachers Association.
Yes.
Someone who has been around for a very long time in terms of serving from a Parent Teachers Association. And I want to recognize the NPTA. They are very, very much involved in our partnership with this National Parenting Seminar and continue to make and give, room and service to the parents of Trinidad and Tobago.
All right.
So I'm happy that you would have shared some of those photographs as well. I see that you have done some very thorough research.
Oh, thank you, sir. Director, I mean, the school violence, we could just a pitch on that. I mean, you know, our past secondary school teacher. So we have this little spectrum in terms of the causes of the school violence.
Yes.
And we saw what happened with the, I think, at school in Port of Spain.
Yes.
With the alderman. We saw that,
yes.
right? And then we have on the other side of the spectrum what would be the action against those students. I understand they have been suspended, but the line between the causes and the action, could you just draw that line for us?
Well,
yes.
Let's look at it.
I know you mentioned something about if you commit the crime, youth crime, you run afoul of the law, you'll deal with it. But just give us that spectrum.
Well, let's look at it in context.
Yeah.
When you have a society that is facing challenges with crime and criminality from a community level,
yes,
we cannot be naive that these children live in the communities, they come from the communities, and the chances are that crime and criminality will be entering the school system, whether directly or indirectly. And if you recognize that the crime and criminality will enter the school system because these children are coming from the communities that are plagued with gang and gang violence, it's important to be adopting a preventative and a proactive step to ensure that you preserve the education system, that these children, at least in that education system, recognize that this is not a place for crime and criminality.
Correct.
So what we recognize through the discussions, this psychosocial intervention is such a critical element. As a matter of fact, it is speaking to the mental element, ensuring that the child makes the right choice, ensuring that the child understands his or her consequences so if he or she runs afoul of the law, having the child understand how to deal with peer pressure and other forms of influence. So it's about promoting the well-being of that child. And we must not be naive as well that in an education system, children are in a continuous stage of development. They are finding themselves when they're going through the various forms at different ages. And then the system in itself, whether it be from external or internal, will create some pressure in terms of the stress that is associated with the education system. So the question is, should they be left on their own? It's important for the teachers and principals to be given the necessary support. We have spoken about a village and a community raising a child. And this is where this psychosocial intervention is bringing on board law enforcement agencies, prison service, the psychologists, the criminologists, the social workers, the children's authority. We are impacting the school in a diverse context. So if they don't listen or if Riza cannot reach them, Zahir will reach them. If Zahir cannot reach them, our criminologist will reach them. If the criminologist doesn't reach them, a sporting icon will reach them. So what we're doing, we're giving a very diverse intervention so that different persons are coming to tell their story. For example, the prisons. The prison is also coming to bring inmates, persons who would have run afoul of the law, to tell these children how important freedom is.
Yes.
And how freedom can be curtailed by your choices and your actions. So the psychosocial, I think that is very important to promote well-being, promote mental health, but also to have the children's mind develop strongly, not to be influenced by environmental factors or what they are seeing at home, and now bringing it into the school system. And perhaps the law enforcement agencies and other agencies can look at it now from a community level. So we are taking it from our Ministry of Homeland Security on a very, very systematic and process-oriented, and hence why this justifies the intervention in school. And you said something in Port of Spain. Let me hint that we have launched this psychosocial intervention in Tobago.
Oh, yes, Signal
at
Hill.
Signal Hill.
Yes.
And I must also recognize the THA. I had some very focused meetings with the THA, Division of Health, Division of Education, the education system up there as well, the Member of Parliament for Tobago West, the sporting division as well, very supportive, the Police Youth Club, TTPS, it was a very, very important engagement in Tobago. And similarly, we launched it at the El Dorado Secondary School in Trinidad. So I want to ensure there's equity as well in terms of the distribution. And our intention, and directed by the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security, he wanted to go as many schools as possible. And the principals and Ministry of Education already created a list of schools. And the one that you talk about, Port of Spain, where there was an issue with the alderman, I want to say in a matter of hours, we will be engaging the school in a very focused way to ensure that we preserve the institution, we continue to promote positivity in the school, and to ensure that the population of the school recognize that we are there for them, we love you, we care for you. That's the only way we can deal with our children, Riza.
Excellent, sir. Do we have that video? I think it was Signal Hill. Can you put that video for us, please?
The Minister of Homeland Security, the Honorable Roger D. Alexander, the Permanent Secretaries in the Ministry of Homeland Security, and by extension the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Social Development have recognized the urgency in reference to the engagement of our nation youths in a multi-sectoral context. And the Minister was very strong when he spoke about prevention and taking preventative steps to be able to deal with our challenges. We cannot shoot our way out of this. We cannot charge our way out of this, and we think it's important to invest heavily in our preventative measures.
The program at the Signal Hill Secondary School follows the launch of the National Symposium focusing on vulnerable youths in Trinidad and Tobago, launched at the El Dorado West Secondary School. Officer Ali said if students run afoul of the law, they are treated on a case-by-case basis.
The rule of law must be upheld, and if children are running afoul of the law, actions must be taken with reference to when you're running afoul of the law. However, because we are now engaged in criminology and psychology and social work, it's important for us to be deep in our consideration as to whether we initiate criminal proceedings, and if so, under what circumstances.
Officer Ali said the Police in Schools initiative remains important towards ensuring the suppression of criminal activity, but there must be a balance between the strong and soft arm of the law. Tobago West MP Joel Sampson told TV6 News the outreach is critical for students, particularly those facing various challenges within the school environment.
You can reach out to your teachers. Don't be afraid. Reach out to the teachers, reach out to the principals. If you have to talk to your parents about it and have them make a report to the station, feel free to do that, because we don't want an environment where persons don't feel comfortable coming to school with the fear of fact that someone is going to bully them.
Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
As you were saying, Director? Yes.
So that's exactly what transpired in Tobago, and I'm very happy that you you refreshed it for the persons who are listening. To clearly demonstrate that we are serious about this engagement. And I'll take this platform as well to encourage persons who are listening. If you feel that you have a contribution to make, maybe you have some experience, or maybe you had a very important story to tell, feel free to reach out, because I want to also open this opportunity where persons who think they can impact, because I'm calling for our community respectfully to get involved. So it's not only about, as I said, about law enforcement or state actors. We are looking at non-state actors, civil society, and even the average man who believe that he can make an impact. You never know, Riza. We have seen in our scriptures that is a simple man who the great Lord would have give revelation to.
Yes, well, Director, we're coming down to the end, but talking about this education system of which I've been part of. This is not a critical assessment, because I know we talk about performance and grades, but there are schools in the country which I know, and perhaps it needs to be, of course, propagated more. About the arts and the music and the the hand and the craft.
Yes,
that's a way out also to keep the young minds busy.
Well, most certainly, and I think that we can look at it in two contexts.
Yes.
The introduction of music, as you indicated, very important, but also this may be a good time to look at our and we have spoken about it, but a good time to raise the discussion again in terms of a review of the education system to see whether, in fact, there's that equitable intervention with these very important things that you're speaking about, because just as I spoke about sport helping the mind, music also can help the mind in terms of understanding. So I want to agree with you that there are many things to look at, and I'm certain that the Ministry of Education will be looking in that direction as well, in terms of things that need to be tweaked, all get towards the best interest of the child and the prosperity of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, Director, a fantastic job. What challenges do you see, for yourself, with this program, or everything seems to be online with what you want to accomplish?
Well, I must say, thanks to Almighty God, first off, for, giving this idea, and, has blessed the idea thus far. I've seen things happen, and only a supreme being could have been guiding that. When you see people are coming on, they are coming on board, you've seen the positivity. And I must also recognize the Minister of Homeland Security, and I said before, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Social Development, and by extension, the Cabinet, for the confidence and the trust that they have placed in me and others. They have basically provided the support, and they continue to provide the support. And I want to salute them this afternoon, because I think that their mind, their focus is in the right place.
Director, well, we're just about ending. I just want to finish on a personal note in terms of the overall scope and landscape of crime in the country. It is affecting our quality of life. We know that. both blue collar and white collar. What can you tell the population for us as citizens as you conclude?
A lot has been done to deal with crime and criminality, and I ask the nation to be patient.
Yes, sir.
I ask the nation to be patient, and I also at the same time ask the nation and every citizen that whenever there's an opportunity to play a role, to make a contribution, make your contribution. Sometimes we deny ourselves or limit ourselves in terms of making a contribution, and a contribution can be as simple that if you see a crime, there are anonymous channel to be able to use. If you do not trust any police officer, to bring that intelligence to the forefront to be able to deal with it, because you may feel that you are secured. Nothing is affecting you. You have all this, the burglar proofing, you have all this CCTV footage. But at some time, you're going to leave to go to the supermarket.
Right.
And that is when a crime of opportunity can create itself.
Right.
So I want us to see this thing that if your head hurts, my too must feel the pain.
Yes.
And we have taught that clearly in Islam. That
Yes.
and I'm going to repeat this, that we need to live in a society where if your head hurts, and I'm going to use as an example, if your head is hurting, I should be feeling the pain in my toe. And if I'm not feeling the pain in my toe, something is wrong.
I hear you. Director, well, my time is up. I want to thank you so much for coming here.
It was my pleasure.
At Sportsreel International, IBN Channel 8. I hope we will keep in contact.
Well, I want to urge you to keep up the great work. And I want to say to you that not many times I'll see a person who has script and who went into depth in terms of identifying things that didn't happen yesterday, but things that happened many years ago. And that's a strength that you have. And I want to also urge you, and may God continue to bless you with the great work that you're doing. And hopefully, in quick time, I'll be calling you to join our engagements.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Well, that's the wrap on IBN Sportsreel International here tonight. I want to thank my technicians, Saki and Siddiqa, who have done a wonderful job tonight. And until next week, Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and blessings of God be with you. Thank you so much.
At Extra Foods, we care for you. That's why we always have the widest variety, the best prices, spacious aisles of total convenience, plus clean, safe surroundings. Let us care for you. Extra Foods, always extra for less.
نغلط ونقول بكرة نتوب وبكرة منتوب نلقى نفسي ضعيف.
Sheikh Leisure Limited, making life easier. Our renowned great tasting vermicelli comes pre-cut in regular and parch, packaged to make preparation simple. Attention all doubles vendors and roti makers, try our high quality pre-sifted bromate free all-purpose and whole wheat flour, low price and conveniently packaged. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Sheikh Leisure Limited, Warrenville, Conopia. Sheikh Leisure Limited, quality you can trust.
When the moment comes to honor a loved one, compassion, dignity and faith matter most. Come to Shyam's Islamic Funeral Services Limited. We provide trusted Islamic funeral and burial services, grounded in tradition and handled with care. From ghusl and shrouding to transportation, janaza coordination, burial arrangements, and special international repatriation services of your loved ones. With professionalism, with respect, with heart. Shyam's Islamic Funeral Services Limited, serving our community with honor.
Fruitopia, the drink that rocks your lunchtime. Fruitopia, Fruitopia, it's a drink that's hype. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Guava, pineapple, that give me a vibe. We no want nothing less compared to the rest. Fruitopia the best. Punch any thirst when it comes to the test. Perfect thing for my lunch. Flavors pack a punch. Fruitopia, Fruitopia, it's a drink that's hype. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Fruitopia, the drink that rocks your lunchtime.
Try our new passion fruit flavor today. Taste the passion.
Win one of 100 shopping sprees. Super Mom, Super Dad, Super Wins sweepstakes is here at Passad's the Food King and Bright Ideas. This is your chance to shop, enter, and win weekly. Here's how you can win. Every time you spend $300, you get an entry form for your chance to win one of 100 shopping sprees. Plus, every Saturday during our live draws, you can shop, spin, and win instantly at any Passad's the Food King. Hurry! Promotion ends June 24th and is NLCB approved.
Quality value, that's our way. A real Passats, we're here to stay. The Food King Passats.
Assalamu alaikum. IBN TV8 is hosting an Arabic art and calligraphy competition for all students 12 years and under. Students will be required to write, draw, paint the word Allah or the word Muhammad in Arabic script with appropriate color scheme, designs, patterns and background. This competition will close on Thursday the 9th of July 2026 inshallah. The maximum size for each piece should be 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters or 24 inches by 24 inches. The material you can use is canvas or cardboard, Bristol board, paint, markers, pencils, pens, crayons, anything that you desire. All